All right, we're on air. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is the end of March 30th today. We're going to do a quick review of design-related tasks for Backdrop CMS. Does one of you want to share the agenda for today's meeting so we can see it?
Sure, 1 second.
Okay. So we wanted to start off with calling attention to a redesign of the status report that Gregory, who's here, has also been working on for the last few weeks. Before, it was just kind of a huge table with multicolored rows, and we wanted to give some thought to the experience of using that table and trying to make it a little more consistent with the rest of Backdrop and also prettier in general, as well as more usable. So that is 2591. Sorry, dyslexic. 2591. So if anyone is curious about what we're doing there are a bunch of screenshots. I think we still need a little bit more feedback, but I'd say the progress there is going really well. Gregory, I don't know if there's anything you want to add as far as sharing progress on this issue.
Yeah, I haven't tested since last week, but the issue number is actually wait a second, 485. It's a much older issue. So that's for the report, and the one that you have linked now is the one for the available updates one.
Oh, okay, 485.
So the major thing there was we've made a decision that that's a table being rendered right now. So we've decided to switch that to divs because we had the issue of the merging table rows. We needed to change to we needed to implement zebra striping, and that was hard because we have two continuous rows merging into one. So rather than doing an API change or addition, we said that it might be better if we switched from table to divs. But yeah, I need to work on that.
Cool. Yeah, I think any feedback, rather than talking about it here in the meeting, go over and post to that issue. I've got it pulled up here in the screen share so people can at least see what it's suggested to be looked at right now. This is the latest design, or latest implementation, I guess, is more accurate.
So we are settled on having the actual values of the report close to the titles, correct?
I don't remember.
So the things with the halos, the actual values of each row should be close to the title, not aligned
all the way across. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
It's a lot. They're associated more closely. Yeah, makes it so you don't need to read across.
And another decision is we currently have everything being alphabetical. I think besides the Backdrop status, which is an exclusion, and it goes at the top of the list. Do you guys think that we should put all the server-related, the environment-related settings together, like a PHP, MySQL version, stuff like that together?
I'm not sure that information is terribly important. Only when you're like first trying to install, you need to know if you have that stuff. But once your site is up, I don't know. I don't know if that is a yes or no to your question. Like, it kind of seems like maybe the answer is yes. Like, if it's not important, we should stick it together and shove it down at the bottom of the page where nobody has to look at it again. But I don't know. I mean, the good thing about alphabetical list is that if you're looking for something specific, you know where to find it. But I think when most people come to this page, they're not looking for something specific. They're looking for something red. And the one thing that I liked about the way that 888 reorganized this page is that they grouped like red things together at the top, followed by yellow things in the middle, followed by green or gray things at the bottom. And I thought that was kind of useful. But within each of those groupings, I think alphabetical is still the way to go.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more discussion with regards to that matter. I'll start, if I have some time during the weekend, and maybe start working on that. But the way that Drupal 8 has moved is they actually did put all the information, what you call it, data together.
Yeah.
And then they had the same doubts about whether these are blocking the actual, the errors and the warnings. And how they mitigated that is that they have put another 3 links at the top with a summary of all the warnings, like 6 warnings, 3 errors, 5 okay status, something like that. And when you click on that, it takes you directly to the expanded section of these respective severity levels.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. I feel like saying we know our design is bad and so we're going to put some links at the top of the page isn't really the best solution.
Well, but it
like,
helps, because if what you're doing is going to this page to scan to see how many errors you have, and if it says 0 errors right at the top, you don't need to read the rest of the page at all.
Right, but why not just put that information at the top of the page than like burying it inside the page and having to put a link to it?
Yeah, there was another suggestion of splitting these into 2 separate tabs. Like one could be the info. So this is out of the way of errors, because assuming that people are coming here to just check for errors is an assumption. Because I quite often see how I recently did the commit that's the jQuery versions there. There's some people that actually, when they switch environments, they have different versions of PHP or what have you. And if they see discrepancies, they say, oh, wait a minute, my local version of PHP is higher than what I have on the server. Let me check quickly what's on the server, what's on staging. So it's an assumption that people are just, yeah, of course, if there's errors, if we have the error buds there, of course, that's what they're going to be coming for. But some people just like to see, oh, green, or, what's the environment.
Yeah, or for those people, the alphabetical list is going to be more helpful. Or a search box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, oh no. I can't.
Oh no.
I mean, well, I don't know. It's like already. I guess.
I really have an issue. That's one of the old ones as well, about an instant filter for almost every page. It's what Android currently does on all phones. Like if you're in a page with a lot of settings and that, it always has a search bar, an instant search bar at the top. Kind of useful, but I don't know, maybe overwhelming. Anyways, point is that this needs a little bit more discussion with regards to the details of how things might be implemented. But yeah, we're on a good path.
Yeah, I would say, like, just for the purposes of restyling the stuff that's here, let's not worry about the order yet until we figure out like big picture. Like I wouldn't want to group info together until we decide whether it's more important or less important than everything else on the page. If we don't know, just leave it in the alphabetical list, and then when we figure that out, we can come back.
Cool. But yeah, let's just talk about it in the issue. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Anyone who has any other feedback on pages within Backdrop the product that need redesign, we're definitely open to that. We're particularly interested in making the product more usable. So go ahead and open issues in her queue. Right now, if you're interested in looking what's already going on, there's a tag, audience-design, where we need design feedback on things. Or if you want to see what we're working on for the next release of Backdrop, there is a milestone for Backdrop 1.7. All right, next on the agenda is to look at backdropcms.org, which is our flagship website. We've got a lot of tasks on making the website prettier as well and more usable. The first step to getting our new homepage design was getting our layouts reworked, and we have successfully done that. I think we were, Nate mentioned at the beginning of this meeting before we started recording that the last meeting we had on design, that wasn't up yet. So it's up now. If you go to backdropcms.org, you'll notice that our sidebar is gone and all of the navigation is now in the header. That required a pretty extensive rework of all of the layouts on the site to get rid of all of the sidebars on all of the pages. And the new layouts are in place. So step one of our new redesign is in place. We have a bunch of other stuff that might not necessarily need to go in a particular order. And those issues, or those follow-up issues, are documented in issue number 301, which was the design redesign, homepage redesign. And one of the things we needed to do was reorganize our main menu link. So getting the links from the sidebar into a drop-down, making sure that the menu links that we have now are organized in a way that makes the most sense possible. We've got an issue for that. It's number 313. And once we know how we want the links organized, making sure that our menu is themed to match the design spec so that it works and makes sense on mobile devices as well as desktop. Adding the missing header elements from our new design, putting in a search box and making sure the search box actually works how we want it to. And then there's a bunch of new stuff that we can plunk into the home page as soon as that's ready too. We wanted to add a new page specifically on how to install Backdrop, and we have a new footer region with a couple of new blocks in it too. So a lot of those things can stand on their own. They don't need to be tied into anything else. And if anyone watching this video now or later wants to help, these are good standalone tasks where you can help contribute to backdropcms.org by building a view or theming a footer, or helping us create and take care of content too. We've got a content type for key features, which we could use help on, language, as well as posting screenshots. So a lot of good stuff here for people who are new and looking for a way to contribute. Other things, we've got a bunch of other things we're working on that aren't backdropcms.org. One of them is our forum website. So we have one up at forum.backdropcms.org. If you already have an account on backdropcms.org, you should be able to log into the forum. There's currently a bug we need to resolve with you need to log out of the main site and then log into the forum site in order for that to work smoothly. The forum site is currently running, I think, Bartik as a theme that's been turned black. And what we want to do is take the theme from backdropcms.org and drop it into the forum site so that we can get some of our branding. Oh, no, it looks like it's running Basis. Some of our new branding on the Backdrop forum site. We also are going to need a couple of specific additions just for the forum. In particular, we're currently using tags to handle our organization of forum topics, like whether you're following an issue or not, or if you want to report it as being spam or malicious. And it would be great to have some good styles for those tags. So if anyone watching this meeting is particularly interested in contributing design, getting some design for how to tag our forum topics is a to-do that we still need help with. Otherwise, also just using the forum, seeing how it feels, like if we need to make any user experience changes to that process, it just needs more testing, and the more we use it, the more we'll figure out what it needs. And we're definitely open to feedback from anyone who's using it. If you feel like it needs a little design love, we can work on that too. So outreach related, we've got a lot of things that could be fun that we could use for spreading the word about Backdrop, getting a sticker designed that you could stick on an Apple laptop. So our dragon could be doing something cute with the Apple. That could be fun. It's a kind of a low pressure task for anyone who wants to contribute design. We have business cards. They were originally envisioned for PMC members to hand out, but we thought we would open source the design so anyone who wanted a Backdrop specific card could print one. We have a design. If anyone wants to take that and play with it, turn it into something else, that's also in issue number 228 up for grabs. And if anyone's particularly interested in Backdrop outreach, we do have a specific label for that as well on GitHub. And so if you search the backdropcms.org queue for outreach related issues, you can grab any of those and contribute wherever feels nice. Bigger picture, we also have been talking about for a while generating some human interface guidelines for Backdrop so that contrib authors have guides to follow about when to use tabs, when to use vertical tabs, when to use action links, how people interact with the software in one place should be consistent with how they interact with it in another. And we originally had someone who was super passionate about documenting all of that. We haven't had any activity on that in a while, But if anyone is super passionate about documenting human interface guidelines, we have a GitHub repository, and it is in need of some love. So that's another place that I think would be a fantastic resource to have, but we don't have anyone working on it right now. And there's a couple of issues in the queue about like, should we document these things? And that requires some studying and then making sure that we're doing things consistently in core as well. So there could be some core user experience improvements that come out of that process. And that's it for our weekly agenda. And usually what we do is go ahead and open this meeting up to anyone who wants to ask any questions related to design items, like if there's something you're working on and you want to bring it up to a group. I don't know if there's not a lot of people actively in the Hangout, but let's see. Does anyone have view access on the YouTube group to see if any of the watchers are adding any comments?
I'm not currently watching. I have a couple of questions.
Sure, you can start.
One is I could use a lot of the sub-issues that were opened. They state that we have a new design, we should do that according to the design. It doesn't link to the design, or for example, like for the footer, I would like to get a screenshot of the footer in that issue. So do we have a link with the finalized designs so that I can grab some screenshots specifically for the footer for that issue or for the respective section anyways for each issue? Because anyone who's working, it's too vague. So that's one. If we can get one link, I'll grab those screenshots and put them there. And then the second is mentioning the layouts. We had a short discussion with Olaf and Tom. It was unrelated. It was we started talking about the menu structure of the user guide. But what came up was that certain pages have a sort of like a heading with where the title is, which is distinct, like it has a grayish background where others don't. And I can't remember if the designs intentionally left only specific pages with that and the other ones planned. And then also the user guide, the main body text is narrower than the rest of the pages, and it's the title is not aligned vertically with the main text.
Are there issues for those things in the?
No, I'm just not sure. If I have a look at the designs, I will be able to file separate issues. But I lost track of where the actual finalized designs mock-ups are. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. We have a Dropbox, and I don't think things are organized in there very clearly. So this might be a good chance to go through and like label things in there, and then we can link to it. And that way, if someone finds a link in one place, they'll be able to still navigate around the Dropbox and find what they need. So I'll find a link and send it to you right away. And then I'll try and organize it a little bit and then post a link in the issue, the redesign issue too.
Just post a link on Gitter so others can grab it as well. Nate, if you're still around, like if you quickly switch through, for example, the homepage and the modules themes page, they are similar in that fashion. But if you change to any other section of the main menu, you will straight away see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, modules, themes, and layouts, those 3 pages have a gray bar at the top. And I think there was some kind of craziness needed to put that in because it's not in the layout. It was just kind of like stuck on there. And the homepage has a hero block, which I think is a little different too. But all of the other pages, it's probably a bug that they're not lined up correctly. So I'll find the designs and get them to you so you can confirm. And our final design, just so you know, is just the homepage. So you wouldn't be able to.
So the rest of the pages, we don't have a design for them, right?
Right. The design is what the site was before. Like there shouldn't be any change in the actual like content area. So if you see things are weird, we just need to figure out like what is the correct solution for this, because it's likely not intentional and we don't have a design to consult. We just have to kind of like put it back to something that makes sense. So that definitely is a place for like, this is what it was before, but we think it will be better this way. There's a good chance we could fix things that we didn't, there's a room for improvement.
Okay, cool.
But I will
Tom,
get you
did you
to the homepage. And we have the original designs too from the first site that include module themes and layouts pages. So if we want to try and like extrapolate like what it should look like from what it was before and what we have now, we can do that. But I'll try and get those all organized so we can find everything clearly.
Okay, thanks. Tom, did you want to say something?
No, I just glad I'm here so I can listen. Took me a while there. I missed it. I'll go back and watch the YouTube later. Catch up what I missed.
So in the YouTube channel, we should structure our agenda so that forum should follow the backdrop CMS theme for consistency. So just comments on our meeting order.
Okay. I think it does. Backdrop CMS or followed by forum.
Oh, forum should follow backdrop CMS theme for consistency. Oh, or perhaps he's just saying in terms of implementation that we should complete backdropcms.org first and then apply that to the forum. That probably is it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think as far as priority, that's where our efforts are as well. That backdropcms.org is getting all of the work because forums, well, I mean, nobody's using it right now, but it's not even like product really finished yet. So
it is actually. We've done all the things in MVP.
Do we have Bakery on there?
Yes, we do. There's one bug with Bakery where if you're already logged into the main site and you try and log into the child site, it tells you access denied. But if you're logged out of both sites and you log into the child site, it does log you into correctly to both sites.
Got it.
So it's half working, but it's on there. So in terms of feature set, everything is complete for launch. We just need to fix the bug in Bakery and then start using it.
Until the bug is fixed, we can change we can quickly change the error message with the access denied, saying perhaps you're already logged in on Backdrop CMS with links so that people can log out.
So the error message, unfortunately, is on backdropcms.org.
Oh yeah.
So it's a little weird. Maybe let's just fix the bug. But yeah, I think that's in general is a good idea. We want to get our main theme as close as we can to finished, and then we'll just drop the whole thing onto the forum site, and it should be close enough. But the call out was there are things on the forum site that are not on the main site that we won't have designed. In particular, the flags for how we flag a particular topic are going to need some love. And so if somebody is experienced with design for flags or experienced with designing a forum, just trying to figure out like how people usually interact with like, I want to follow this issue, or this looks like it's spam. Like there are patterns for that, and having some kind of thought as to what we want that experience to be might be valuable outside of the theme that we're going to drop on there, so that those things can happen in parallel. We can start thinking about design stuff, before or during or after we get that theme done. Okay, well, Tom, I know you came late to the party, but is there anything that you want to address in this meeting in particular?
A quick one that I caught there at the end. You were saying that the new layout is strictly for the home page, but not for the rest of the pages?
The new design. So the design we got, the plan was to change nothing from the current site except for the home page. But when you take the navigation in the sidebar on every page and put it into the header on every page, it does affect every page. But the end result should be that below the header region, it should look really similar to the old site. So in terms of consulting designs for how things should look now, if it's the home page, we have a design for that. If it's an interior page, we have a design for the previous iteration of the site. And so we'll need to kind of consult that and say, in a world where there are no sidebars, like where should the page title align, and make sure that we've got it close enough. So there's a little kind of artistic interpretation required. But it's really hard right now to find either sets of designs in the Dropbox. And so I promised Colonos that I would send you guys a link right away so you have them, but then maybe also spend a little time being like, this was round 1 of the original design, this was round 2 of the original design, and this is the new homepage, so people can kind of find via folders or timestamps or something, like some way to get to the right document. So I'll try and do that today and see if we can't make that a little easier for people to navigate.
Okay. My biggest concern was the navigation across the top. So the navigation structure will be there, and everything below that follows the old, which is perfectly fine. I got it. That was a big question.
Yeah. Issue 352 needs to happen for that. Once we have a drop-down menu, we'll be able to organize things better.
So I think we need the plan of like where the links should go first, and I think we're pretty close on that. I think that's 313. Like we kind of have a plan, but we can't put the links into the right order until we have the design. We don't want to implement the design until we have the plan. So I think like I think the plan is probably close enough that if we implemented the design, we could put into place what we have and change it later. So yeah, but I don't know. Let's check on it.
And one other thing that came up in one of was the backdrop website design guide or whatever it was that I made. Keep things that doesn't need to be that we can.
I don't think so. I mean, there might. So this is the style guide. Yeah, we had a style guide that was in Contrib. Most of the style guide includes things like headings and buttons and what have you. And I think the style guide that we have in Contrib right now is for Backdrop the product and not Backdrop the website. So it doesn't include any of our branding. It's just for Backdrop core, essentially. So I don't know if it would be a good idea if we created a style guide for backdropcms.org. That would probably make it a lot easier to theme if we were going to change things in the future. Right now, the tricky part is that we're trying not to change any of the branding, but we're still trying to implement the new homepage. So I'm not sure that a style guide is going to be super helpful right now.
There is one there, and I made it
where
on backdropcms.org, and it's showing up because Olaf mentioned that where are we going to put that into the menu structure, and I was saying, well, it really doesn't need to be there at all. But I had created it.
What is this? Is there a link? Is it a page? Is it like just the style guide module is turned on?
No, it was styles that we should use to be consistent across the board for what we create on the pages as far as how we address links and whatnot. And
well, I think Jen's asking, where is this thing that you're discussing? Is it an issue like in GitHub, or is
there actually a page on the website?
Yeah.
There's a whole section on the website.
Oh.
A book, I think.
Apparently I'm not reading our content either.
Let me look real quick. I'll find it.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
I just put it in group chat. It was the Backdrop website style guide. It's a book.
Ah, interesting. Got it. So this style guide isn't the style of the theme, it's the style of how to write documentation.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, style guide is confusing. Like because that's what they call like, the Chicago style guide or the, I can't remember quite what it's called, the MLA or, the style guides as far as writing style. Yeah, not necessarily.
It wasn't so much that as much as it was keeping consistency across the board throughout the site. So even though it says logging in, it says what a title should look like, what a color should look like, what a body should look like, etc. And if you don't, I made it, but if you don't want it, ditch it. But I don't think it's something that we want on the website for public consumption. It was just
I think that's an internal document. I'm just gonna unpublish it for now.
Got it. Interesting.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's like.
Yeah, and it also needs to change to backdrop, not website style guide, but user guide style guide.
The user guide style guide. Yeah. Boy, that's not confusing.
Maybe style guide for the user guide, whatever. And this brings up another issue that, see, we have a white background, and while the logging in is an image, it looks like as if it's a actual text, or the how to log into your website. So I think I've mentioned that before, and I've created an issue. We should have some shadows, borders.
On images, yeah.
Okay. All right. Whew, wow, we've eaten through half an hour of meeting already. I thought it was going to be a short one today, but you guys are full of good ideas. Anything else we should talk about? Any more good ideas before we wrap this? No. Okay. So we will meet again in 2 weeks to discuss design specific items. Anyone who wants to contribute design is welcome to do so in whatever way possible. The easiest way to communicate with us is all in the Gitter channel or on GitHub in the issue queue. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming in person. And we will meet again in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.